अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख कैसो हम चाहत है। ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So our today's topic is soul's five distinctive disposition. Okay. So in this universe, there are six substances, out of which soul is also one of the substance. Now, soul's function of knowing and seeing is only unique to the soul only. All other substances like matter, medium of motion, medium of rest, space and time, they don't have this attribute of knowing. So this is soul's distinctive disposition because it is only available in soul and it is not available in any of the other five substances. These distinctive dispositions of the soul is of five types, and at any point of time, two or more of these five dispositions are found in all the souls from one sensed to liberated soul. All will have one, two or more of these five dispositions. There cannot be any soul in this universe without these extraordinary inclination. Therefore, it is important to understand them in order to know more about ourselves and also about how a soul transcends from a wrong believer to a right believer and subsequently getting liberated. So the soul's whole journey can be clearly known if we understand this soul's five distinctive disposition. In Hindi, it is called जीव के पांच असाधारण भाव. So now the bhav word here means disposition of the soul in the presence of karma. Okay. So the extraordinary inclinations of the soul that have caused subsidence, yeah, destruction, then subsidence come destruction, that is both, or rise. Okay. So these are the four conditions that happens when the soul's disposition manifest. Okay. And there is a subsequent something happening at the karma level. Now what is happening at the karma level is the subsidence, destruction, subsidence come destruction, or rise. Okay. So also the inherent nature of the soul, param parinamic bhav, which remains unaffected by these karmas, is also called parinamic bhav of the soul. Okay. So one must understand from which perspective the word is being used, because bhav word has been used in many different senses also, like toxic emotions, existence, merit, demerit, delusion, passions, then substance and attributes. These are also referred to as bhav, but here it means the disposition of the soul in the presence of karma. Okay. So the main reference of this topic is from Tattvad Sutra, second chapter, starting from the verse number sorry, aphorism number 1 to 7. All this deals with the 5 distinctive dispositions. Okay. So, Acharya Mumaswamy has mentioned in the second chapter of Tattva Sutra that a soul is characterized by its 5 distinctive disposition. Number 1, subsidential disposition. It is called Opshamik Bhav in Hindi. Okay. Destructional disposition, Shayapshamik Bhav. Then subsidential cum destructional disposition, Shayapshamik Bhav. Then fourth is rising disposition, Odig Bhav. And the fifth one is inherent nature, that is Parinamik Bhav. The first 4 of these dispositions are described based to the modes of karmas, which are subsidence, destruction, then subsidence cum destruction, then rise. Sorry. Okay. So the first 4 of these dispositions are based on the modes of karma. Now, soul and karmas are 2 separate substances. Karmas are matter substance and soul is a conscious substance, right? So why should the soul's distinctive characteristics depend on the karmas, right? Just now we said that the first 4 dispositions are described based to the modes of karmas, okay? So again, this question is very important to understand that soul and karmas being 2 separate substances, why should the soul's distinctive disposition depend on the karmas? So the answer is, yeah, it's true that the soul and karma are 2 separate substances. However, they are closely bound with each other through the instrumental cause and effect relationship. We have already studied this chapter, instrumental cause and effect, okay? Karan Karya Sambandh. So which is also called Nimit Naimitic relationship. Okay, Nimit Naimitic relationship. Karmas are the Nimit and the soul's dispositions are the Naimitic. Okay. The time of soul's disposition and the corresponding change in the mode of karma being the same time. It's a coincidence. Here, soul is manifesting on its own and their karmas are manifesting on their own, right? This is not dependent on this and this is not dependent on that. But there exists an instrumental cause and effect relationship between the two. And you should understand that these relationship is of instrumental cause and effect and not a doer and deed relationship. Because doer and deed relationship exist in only one substance, whereas this relationship of nimit and naimitic that exists in between 2 separate substances. So soul is a separate substance and the karmas are also separate substances. So conventionally, Acharya have described this disposition in accordance with the changes in karma. So these are all conventional statements. Okay. Whenever we connect to the karmas, it will always be a conventional statement. What is the need of using this conventional statement? To quantify these minute disposition and explain them as they are not known in our limited knowledge. Therefore, even though the soul cannot bring about any change in the karmas, its disposition have been described in accordance with the changes in modes of karmas. Okay, so this relationship it is called nimit naimitic and not karta karm, doer and deed relationship. Okay, so both things happening simultaneously. Here the disposition of the soul arises. Simultaneously, there is a transformation in the karmas also happening. Okay. Both are independently transforming on its own. Not because of these and not because of that. There is no connections between the two. Both are independently transforming. But having said that, exists a instrumental cause and effect relationship. Now we will see each of these, and then we will see the relationship between the inherent nature and the Audik Bhav, which is the main part of this chapter. So first of all, subsidential disposition. The pure disposition of the soul that result in the subsidence. Subsidence means upsham, suppress, of deluding karma, that is monia karma, are known as subsidential disposition. Okay. So the pure disposition of the soul. Okay. So when you take shelter in yourself, then only the pure disposition arises. And then that particular soul is an enlightened one, wise soul, right believer, whatever you say. So the pure disposition of the soul that result in the subsidence of deluding karma are known as subsidential disposition. So out of the 8 karmas, this particular opshamic bhav works only in the deluding karma. Connected karma is only the monia karma, deluding karma, and not any other karmas. Okay. A spiritually minded soul, due to his ability to practice discriminative knowledge, and by practicing that discriminative knowledge, is able to suppress the impurity arising due to the rise of monia karma, and is able to manifest purity in belief and conduct. Okay. So this purity is known as opshamik bhav. This is a disposition of the soul, and it has got no connections with the karma apart from the nimit nemitic sambandh. Okay. Example. Impurities settle down in water. Supposing in a vessel filled with muddy water. Okay. If a clearing agent like alum is added, the impurities settles down at the bottom. The water appears clear at the surface, but the impurities are not removed. It is just settled down. Such a state is called subsidence. Dabna, karmoka dabna. Okay. The karmic matter has only been suppressed by the pure disposition of the soul and not completely eradicated or destroyed. This has got 2 types. Just because it affects the monia karma only, and monia karma has 2 divisions, darshan moh and charitra moh, faith deluding karma and the conduct deluding karma. And so the opshamik bhav is also of 2 types, subsidential belief and subsidential conduct. Then we have time period. So whoever first attains right belief the first time, okay, it is always the opshamik samyak darshan, subsidential right belief, and the duration of that is maximum is 48 minutes. Okay, something one samay less than the 48 minutes. So maximum we can say roughly 48 minutes. Okay, and then it has to convert into something. So either we also discussed this during the last class on Samyak Darshan, right belief. So I'm not repeating it. So there could be 4 scenarios that can happen after this 48 minutes are over. Okay. Either the soul can go to the first stage or the second stage or the third stage, or can remain in the 4th stage as a Shayop Shamik Samyak Drashti. Okay, these four situations are possible. Okay, so types is done, time period is done. Next is spiritual stages. Who are the souls that exist? Okay, 1 minute. Hmm. Okay, so spiritual stages is 4th to 11th. Just as I said that the right believer can only manifest this opshamic bhav, so he is already in the 4th stage. So between 4th to 11, uh, souls can have this opshamic bhav. Okay, so that is the spiritual stages. Now we move on to the next one, number 2, destructional disposition. The sequence that has been given here, there is also a logical explanation in that sequence. So we are discussing in that sequence only. And later on, we'll also see what is the logic behind giving this sequence. Acharya Uma Swami in Tattvat Sutra gave this logical reasoning. So the next is destructional disposition, shaik bhav. We will be using the Hindi words more often. Okay, so just remember which word is for which. Destructional disposition, literal meaning is shaik bhav. Okay, shaik bhav. The pure disposition of the soul that result in the complete destruction. Earlier it was subsidence of karmas. Now complete destructions of karma are known as destructional disposition. Okay, so this is something that the karmas have been completely destroyed. Okay, so example, water totally devoid of impurities. Okay, so in that particular vessel with water, if the impurities are completely removed, not settled at the bottom, but completely removed by filtration, the water becomes totally devoid of impurities. In the same way, the soul's intense effort of practicing discriminative knowledge, Ved Vigyan, result in complete dissociation of faith-deluding karma matter such that it can never be bound again with the soul, resulting in the evolution of destructional disposition in the form of Shaik Samyaktva. Okay. Later on, the soul makes effort to attain liberation and produce all 9 types of Shaik Bhav as described below. So there are 9 types of this destructional knowledge. So you see, this destructional disposition is concerning all the 4 obscuring karmas and also the 4 non-obscuring karmas. Okay, but we are only concerned with the obscuring karma because that is what something we have consciously got to destroy. The aghati karma, non-obscuring karmas, they get destroyed on its own. So we don't have any responsibility at that level. Okay, so we are understanding this. So there are 9 types of, and see, destructional knowledge. So this is from the first Jnana Varana karma. Okay, then destructional perception, Darshana Varana karma. This has been manifested because of the complete destruction of Darshana Varana karma. Okay, the third is destructional gift, destructional gain, destructional enjoyment, destructional re-enjoyment, and destructional energy. All these 5 are related to Antarai karma. Okay, Antarai karma, obstructing karma. Okay, then we have 2 left, destructional belief and destructional conduct, which is again related to the Monia karma. So you see, total 9. So when here total destructions of karma will happen, all these will get manifested. Time period is Sadi Anant. Sadi means which has a beginning, right? So this has got a beginning, but this is endless. There is no end, because once you manifest this, it remains with you even if you get liberated also. This particular disposition, Shaik Bhav, remains all the time. Okay. So that's why it is called Sadi Anant. It has got a beginning, but no end. The spiritual stages are 4th to 14th and Siddh Bhagwans. Why 4th, starting from 4th? Because at the 4th stage only, the complete destructions of darshan moh can happen. Okay, darshan moh and the anantanubandhi kashaya. So both can completely be eradicated, and that is the 4th stage. So 4th to 14th and the Siddha Bhagwan. Now 3rd in the sequence is subsidential destructional disposition. It is called Shamik Bhav. One minute. Okay. The mixed disposition. So subsidential come destruction come rise. Three situations happening at the karma's level, and correspond to that something happening at the soul's modification level. Okay. So this Shamik Bhav is a disposition of the soul, and it only manifests with the combination of these three: subsidential, destructional, and rise. So the mixed disposition of the soul that causes subsidence of some of the prakritis, destruction of some of the prakritis, and rise of karmas of some of the prakritis, all these put together is known as Shamik Bhav. Okay. The example given is water clear in some parts and muddy in others. Okay. So in that same example, vessel filled with muddy water, if the impurities are, sorry, oh, no, water clear in some parts and muddy in others. So it will have three kinds of things, that some water is clear, some is muddy, and some have settled at the bottom. Okay. All these three put together would be the example. The muddy water which was treated with a clearing agent earlier had its mud settled at the bottom. However, due to the wind or some other external force, the parts of settled mud started coming up. Now this water is clear in some parts and muddy in others. This mixed state is exactly what happens during Shayopsham. Due to the soul's mixed efforts, some of the karmas get destroyed, some get subsided, and some comes into fruition, which is also called rise. Okay. The soul's disposition, partially pure and partially impure, that results in such a state of karma is known as Shamik Bhav. So Shamik Bhav is a disposition of the soul pertaining to certain conditions in the karma. Okay. So there are 18 types of this Shamik Bhav, 4 types of right knowledge: sensory, scriptural, clairvoyance, telepathy. Then 3 types of wrong knowledge: sensory, scriptural, clairvoyance. Then 3 kinds of perception. These are all subdivisions, okay? Ocular, non-ocular, clairvoyant. Then 5 kinds of attainment: gift, gain, enjoyment, re-enjoyment, energy. And the last 2 is Shamik belief and Shamik conduct. Then we have restraint come non-restraint. So if you add together, then it becomes 18. Okay. So 4 plus 3 plus 3. 4 plus 3 plus 3, 10, then 5 kinds of attainment, 15, then Saipshamik belief, Saipshamik conduct, and restraint come non-restraint, 18. Altogether is 18. Maximum time frame for this is 66 sagar, which is a very long period. Okay. And minimum is less than 48 minutes. Okay. Spiritual stages, first to 12th. So the earlier two, it was starting from 4th because they were enlightened soul. Here, an ignorant soul can also have this Saipshamik bhav, and enlightened one can also have. So it is first to 12th. Okay. Now moving on to the next. That is Audaik bhav, rising disposition. Okay. So this is the 4th in the sequence, and the same sequence is maintained everywhere. The disposition of soul during the rise of karmas are known as Audaik bhav. The water appears dirty when it is muddy. Okay. In the same way, the pure soul appears impure in the presence of Audaik bhav. Okay. So these are 21 types. 4 states of existence: hellish, celestial, human, subhuman. Then 4 types of toxic emotions: anger, pride, deceit, greed. 3 types of sexual cravings: desire to copulate with men, women, or both. Then we have wrong faith. Then ignorance. So this is Audaik Agyan. Okay, Audaik Agyan that goes off at the 13th stage. Okay. Then we have non-restraint, asanyat, and then we have imperfect disposition, asiddhatva. So this Audik Agyan does not allow the Keval Gyan, it's a Keval Gyana Varana Karma, it does not allow to manifest omniscience knowledge. So that goes at the 13th, and this imperfect disposition, asiddhatva, that goes off at 14th. Okay. This, when there is a rise of this, you cannot get liberated. So it goes off at only the 14th. Then we have 6 colorations, lashyas. Lashyas are a benchmark for measuring the level of passions, whether it is intense or mild. Okay. So there are 6 colorations: black, blue, gray, yellow, pink, white. The first 3 are inauspicious and the next 3 are auspicious. So all this put together, there are 21 types of Audik Bhav. Okay. Time period. In case of souls capable of attaining liberation, that is Bhavya, Anadi Sant. Okay. So it is there since beginningless time, but it will come to an end because the soul will get liberated, which means beginningless but will come to an end. And in case of souls incapable of attaining liberation, Anadi Anant, that is beginningless and endless. Spiritual stages, 1st to 14th. Okay. So we see that starting from the one sensed being to the 14th stage, all have Audaik Bhav. Okay. In short, it is the passions or sentiments of delusion, attachment, aversion, auspicious, inauspicious sentiments, alien disposition, all you can consider. These are all Audaik Bhav. Basically, when there is a rise of karma, whatever manifestation happens at the soul's modification, that is called Audaik Bhav. Now we come to the last one. Inherent nature. Okay. Parinamik Bhav. The disposition of the soul that are its true nature, that are unchangeable. So do you remember we studied in viewpoints, 8 viewpoints, 4 conventional viewpoint and 4 real viewpoint. There we studied at number 8, supreme real point of view, param shuddha nischay nahi. Okay. And there we explained parinamic bhav is that number 8. It is the object of vision. We have to do oneness in this. First we have to identify and then you have to do oneness in it, and that is how you manifest right belief. Okay. Okay. So the disposition of soul that are its true nature, that are unchangeable, in any situation, whatever is happening at the audic level, but this parinamic bhav remains unchangeable, undisturbed, uninfluenced. It does not depend on the karmas. That certified the very existence of the soul substance are known as its inherent nature or parinamic bhav. Okay. It is devoid of origination and destruction. Okay. So this is parinamic bhav, and who are we? We are this parinamic bhav, unchangeable, only knower. Okay. We never get influenced by any karmas, any audik bhav. Okay. So belief in ourselves that we are this unchangeable parinamic bhav. So that in the same example, the general water, the general clear water is what parinamic bhav is all about. Next. Yeah. It is of 3 types. Soul principle, that is called jivatva. Then we have endowed with the inherent capacity to attain liberation, that is bhavyatva. And the third one is not endowed with inherent capacity to attain liberation, that is abhavyatva. Okay. So in that muddy water, the molecules of water never turned into mud. Okay. So that clear water is the parinamic bhav. So time period, anadi anant. Okay. No beginning, no end. Beginningless and endless. Spiritual stages 1 to 14th and Siddh Bhagwan. So all the soul of the universe will always have this parinamic bhav. Okay. So in the beginning only we said 2 or more disposition will always be there with the soul, starting from one sense to the liberated soul. So one is this one. Okay. And the second could be, if it is 1 to 14, then it will be Audik Bhav. And if we consider the liberated soul, then they have that Shaik Bhav. Okay. Shaik Bhav and this Parinamic Bhav. These two are there with the liberated soul. Okay. So after understanding the nature of these 5 distinctive disposition, we will go deep into this Audik Bhav and the Parinamic Bhav. Okay. Disposition arising from the rise of karma and the inherent nature, parinamic bhav. So this requires special mention because we have to practice discriminative knowledge between these two. Okay. On one side is parinamic bhav, which is ourself, and the other side is the audik bhav. Discriminating between the two is what constitutes discriminative knowledge. So we have to understand this going deep. Okay. So there are some points highlighted here and that we will see. The first one, Audik Bhav. 1 minute. It is always to be regarded as hey. Audik bhav is always regarded as hey, worth of abandonment in one's vision. Why? Because these, when you manifest this audik bhav, then you bind new karmas and that cycle keeps on going. So it is always regarded as worthy of abandonment, worthy of renouncing, okay, undesirable in one's vision. So the soul has made the mistake of establishing oneness with this from time immemorial, and now by practicing discriminative knowledge, we can get separated with that. In fact, it is already separate, okay? But the soul, because of ignorance, was considering oneness with it, and now with uh, right belief, you can know that this is something different from me, okay? So this is worth of abundant, worth of renouncing. After knowing the nature of this audik bhav, okay, automatically uh, this particular disposition becomes undesirable. Second point, it is unreliable, untrustworthy. It is of innumerable types, and even we can imagine that we cannot imagine that even audik bhav of two arhants can never be the same. Both are in the 13th stage of spiritual development. Both are going to get liberated very soon. But still, the audik bhav does not match. So that means it is absolutely unreliable. The classic example is of Sita, Ram, and Ravan. So in this life, Sita was the wife of Ram and Ravan kidnapped Sita. Okay. But in the next birth itself, Sita became celestial being Prati Indra Dev, and Ram was still here in the human life only, and he became a monk. Ram became a monk and he was meditating. So Sita from the heaven came down and tried to disturb Ram's concentration. He was in meditation and he tried to disturb Ram's concentration. And on the contrary, Ravan was in Narak, third Narak. So he went there, that Dev, particular Prati Indra Dev, the earlier Sita, okay? He went there in the third Narak and started preaching Ravan to manifest right belief. And in this life, you can see how the situation pans out. So it is absolutely unreliable. Another example we can think of is between two brothers, Bharat and Bahubali. Both were going to be liberated in the same life, but still both had a fight. Why? Because the audik bhav are different for different people. These are unreliable. This cannot be reliable, untrustworthy. These are okay. So that was the another example. The third point on the audik bhav, it is sequentially regulated and well ordered. Every mode will arise in its own due moment. So these also goes on to prove the sequentially ordered modification. Okay. All the audik bhavs are sequentially regulated and well ordered. And it will arise in its own due moment, not a one moment before and not a one moment later. You cannot change that. Nothing is in your hand. It cannot be avoided. Okay. It is not even affected or influenced by omniscience knowledge. Okay. Example, when Parasnath Muni, monk Parasnath, was meditating, okay, then he was subject to afflictions. And there were some monks who had clairvoyance knowledge, there were some monks who had telepathy knowledge, then there were someone who had got omniscience knowledge. Okay. But Parsnath Muniraj was, they could not save him. They could not save him from the afflictions. That affliction has to come, so it came. So Audik Bhav cannot be avoided. Another example we can see of Dwarika city, it was completely burned, and everything was announced in advance that after 12 years Dwarika will burn, completely destroyed, only 2 people will survive. And it happened in the same manner. So this goes on to prove that Audik Bhav cannot be changed, it cannot be avoided. It will definitely come in its due moment. Okay. One more conclusion that we can derive from this particular point, that Audik Bhav never learns anything from anybody because it cannot change itself. What has to happen, it will happen. So there are no learnings in Audik Bhav. The next, it is not something that must necessarily be experienced. So we also understood in some other topics also that the soul, by dint of his effort, although there is a rise of karma, but if he practices descriptive knowledge at the same point of time, he may not manifest toxic emotions. Okay. So correspondingly, there are situations happening in the karma all the time with the instrumental cause of the soul's modification. Okay. So it is not something that must necessarily be experienced. Okay. We can, uh, by manifesting good sentiments, we can change the course of the karmas. There are 4 stages that keep on happening all the time. Increase of karma, utkarshan, then upkarshan, decrease of karma, decrease in karma, increase in karma. Then there is sankraman, which is a conversion from married to demarried, demarried to married. Okay. And the fourth one is udirna, maturing before its due time. So all these things keep on happening. So whatever we have bound, we are not going to experience all those fruitations of those karmas. Okay. So this Audik Bhav is not something that must be necessarily experienced. With the help of right efforts, we can always avoid the all those Audik Bhav coming into fruition. The next point, experiencing oneself as separate from it is the true self effort. So by practicing discriminative knowledge, we can experience oneself as separate from the Audik Bhav, and that is called the true effort. Audik Bhav is a compulsion, not effort. So we should not blame the instrumental causes because they are simply instrumental causes. It is our own Audik Bhav that has come into fruition. Okay. So we can put in the right effort and practice descriptive knowledge and experience ourselves as a separate from this Audik Bhav. The next point is intense Audik Bhav causes transgression, offense, crime, violation. Mild Audik Bhav calls for forgiveness, repentance. So this Audik Bhav are of for different people, different kinds, depends on their past karmas, present eligibility, present effort, lot of factors governing this Audik Bhav. So when there is a rise of intense Audik Bhav, okay, the soul engages in offense, crime, or violation. And when this Audik Bhav settles down, it becomes mild, then that same soul calls for forgiveness or repentance. Next, do not compare the Audik Bhav of the self and others, nor make it an ideal, because this is not something to be followed. Okay. No comparison. The moment you compare, because Audik Bhav are different for different people, no 2 people can have same kind of Audik Bhav. And moreover, it keeps on changing also all the time. So comparison is not something that you should not do. And that is, comparison is a cause of stress, it is a cause of tension, it is a cause of depression. Okay. So don't compare the Odik Bhav of self and the others. Follow the vision, perspective of a right believer. Okay. So when we see a right believer, what is some that we need to learn from him? So his Odik Bhav are something that we should not adapt or copy it. Okay. That has to be avoided. Okay. So we should not copy the Odik Bhav of even a right believer. We should only see his efforts in manifesting the right belief. Okay. The last point on Odik Bhav, do not experience yourself as inferior or great on the account of Odik Bhav, because it keeps on changing. At times you will have sentiments of taking vows, practicing austerities, and other rituals. So these are all Odik Bhav. You don't become great because of this. And sometimes you also indulge in sinful activities. Then also you should not experience yourself as inferior. Remaining neutral in both the position is ideal. Okay. So lot of things that we have learned about Odik Bhav. In short, it is all kinds of passions, toxic emotions, merits, demerits, alien disposition. All these constitutes Odik Bhav, and a soul should practice discriminative knowledge. Discriminate between the Odik Bhav and the Parinamic Bhav. I am the Parinamic Bhav, and this Odik Bhav is entirely different from me. So if you practice it in this way, then you will be able to realize yourself and settle in yourself. Now we will see something on Parinamic Bhav. So just now we had a small discussion on Parinamic Bhav, that is inherent nature. First of all, it is number 8, supreme real point of view, object of vision. Okay. So whatever adjectives that we had used in number 8, all can be applicable here. The one who has never become impure and the one who does not want to become pure. जो कभी अशुद्ध हुआ नहीं, जिसे कभी शुद्ध होना नहीं. I am that parinamic bhav. I never become impure. I am pure from the beginning itself. Okay. Eternally pure. I am eternally pure. Eternally unchangeable. Okay. So natural disposition, it is a natural disposition independent of origin and destructions. So origin and destruction happens in the modification, and the parinamic bhav is independent of origination and destruction. Then it is also independent of karmas. All the four are dependent on karmas. They have a instrumental cause and effect relationship with the karmas. But the parinamic bhav is independent of karmas. It has got no relationship with the karmas. It is permanent, dhruv, and unchangeable disposition. Okay. The four bhavas are modification. Parinamic bhav is the master of them all. Okay. So all the four, opshamik, shaik, shayopshamik, and audik. These all four are modification, and parinamic bhav is the master of them all, the pure substance. Okay. It is free from both pure and impure modes, because modes is something different from inherent nature. Okay. The third is it encompasses substance, dravya, then attribute, gun, power, shakti, nature, swabhav, and property, dharma. Okay. It encompasses all. Then the next point is the subject of supreme real viewpoint. Number 8, Param Shuddha Nischay, and the object of right vision. So we already discussed this. It is the pure soul that transcends all gunasthan. Okay. All stages of spiritual development. It is beyond all the spiritual stages of development. Okay, that means it transcends all gunasthans. So this is all we have to discuss on parinamic bhav. So Audik bhav and parinamic bhav, these are the two extremes. So when you practice discriminative knowledge, one party is you, the parinamic bhav, and everything else is falling into the category of Audik bhav. So the discrimination between Audik bhav and parinamic bhav should be practiced very deeply on a day-to-day basis to gain spiritual insight and to progress in the path of liberation. Okay. Now the next heading is number of souls in each category. The order in which these five dispositions appear in Tattvat Sutra is not random. Okay. It is very logical sequence. The number of souls exhibiting each bhav increases as we move from first to last. So Opshamik bhav, then Shaik bhav. So Shaik bhav are more than Opshamik bhav. How can you know this? Because you see the Gunasthan. By looking at the Gunasthan, you can make out that why Opshamik bhav is in the first. Because the souls who are in the 4th to 11th stages, they are into the first one, Opshamik bhav. Then second is 4 to 14. So obviously it is greater than the 4 to 11. Then the third is 1 to 12. Okay. So 1, 2 means all wrong believers. So that makes a big category. Then it is 1 to 14. And the last one is 1 to 14 plus Siddh Bhagwan, liberated soul. So obviously the sequence will follow in this way only. 2 is greater than the 1, 3 is greater than 2, so forth. Okay. Now, the main part. After understanding this 5 distinctive disposition, what should be the conclusion? Which of these dispositions are shelter worthy, worth taking shelter, and which are worthy to be renounced? Hey, and which should be known? Gne. Okay. So after each and every topic, whatever we study, we should apply this Upade, Hey, and Gne. Gne, Hey, and Upade. Very important. Otherwise, there is no point in understanding the concepts. If we are not able to renounce what is worth renouncing, if we are not able to take shelter, which is worth taking shelter, and if we are not able to see what is as known as the Gne, then there is no use. Okay. So every time we should apply this after learning any topic. What is in it for me here? Okay. So all the 5 disposition are a soul's distinctive disposition. Therefore, all are worth knowing, because without knowing, how can we say that this is worth desirable, this is worth undesirable? So first we have to know, understand each distinctive disposition's nature, and then proceed to practice discriminative knowledge. Okay. And then automatically we will come to know what is worth renouncing, what is worth adapting, what is worth taking shelter, okay, and what is worth only knowing. Parinamic bhav is the only bhav which is completely independent of karmas, eternally constant, and the soul's own inherent nature. It is eternally present, and that is why it is completely shelter worthy. Ashray karne yogya param upade. Okay. Completely shelter worthy. The solace of parinamic bhav, which is the soul element, leads to evolution of all the pure modifications like right belief, samvar, nirjara, moksha. Okay. It is the only path to liberation and eternal happiness. Therefore, the souls who wish to end their cycle of miseries should take shelter of their parinamic bhav. Then, odik bhav are impure disposition and the main reason for our transmigration. That is why they are completely worth renouncing. They are in existence for all worldly souls, but they are not one's true nature. And hence, in our belief, we must see them as separate from our existence. Discrimination from Audik Bhav is the only way to attain right belief. The other three, Opshamik, Shayopshamik, and Shaik. Okay. The other three, namely Opshamik and Shayopshamik Bhav of the soul in the path of liberation. So Shayopshamik Bhav of the ignorant will be taken separately. Now they are taking Shayopshamik Bhav, Opshamik, Shayopshamik Bhav of the soul in the path of liberation are worth of any setting. Okay. So Opshamik Bhav and Shayopshamik Bhav of the soul in the path of liberation are partially worth of manifesting. Ek desh pragat karne yogya upade. And Shaik Bhav is completely worth manifesting. Okay. So that was partially worth manifesting. This Shaik Bhav is completely worth manifesting. Because when you have manifested Shaik Bhav, then you are going to get liberated very soon. Next, the Shayopshamik Bhav of the ignorant soul is neither worthy of renouncing nor manifesting, only worthy of knowing. Okay. So here we had discussed Shayopshamik Bhav of the soul in the path of liberation. That means enlightened soul. Here we are discussing Shayopshamik Bhav of the ignorant soul. Okay. Next, the shelter of Opshamik Bhav, Shayopshamik Bhav or Shaik Bhav does not lead to annihilation of karmas, because they are not the eternal nature of the soul. They are not the eternal nature of the soul. Only the shelter of the inherent nature of the soul, parinamic bhav, accomplishes that task. Therefore, even though the above three are worth manifesting, Opshamik, Shayopshamik and Shaik, they are not shelter worthy. Okay. Because they are also part of modification, and modifications are momentary, so they are not worthy of taking shelter. In fact, nobody can take shelter of these momentary sentiments. Okay. Thus, we see that the only bhav is worthy of taking shelter, which is parinamic bhav, which is upade, worth taking shelter in. Now, the last topic, what is the importance of understanding this 5 distinctive disposition? So the parinamic bhav, the inherent nature, shows us that the soul is eternally pure and unaffected by external influences like karmas. Okay. So we are all parinamic bhav. So we are also eternally pure. Don't consider yourself to be impure just by looking at the temporary sentiments, because these comes and go, and I remain eternally pure. Okay. And unaffected by external influences like karmas. Such a beautiful thing. Unaffected by karmas. External influence, any external influence, unaffected. Okay. So I am that pure soul, parinamic bhav, unchangeable bhav. The ones who believe in their parinamic bhav, the one who believe in their parinamic bhav means the one who believe that they are the parinamic bhav, they are the pure soul, are able to manifest that purity in their modifications too. First, if you believe that you are pure, then your modification will also flow like that only. Okay. So the purity in the modification will automatically flow. In order to become happy, one does not have to go anywhere or depend on anyone. His parinamic bhav is eternally present, always present. The study of Audik bhav tells us that in spite of being pure in nature, just now we discussed parinamic bhav, pure in nature, since beginningless time, the soul has had impure manifestations and has never looked at his own pure self. Okay. In spite of being pure in nature since beginningless time, the soul has had impure manifestations and has never looked at his own pure self. And that is why he is wandering in the transmigrations. Okay. So our approach should be, first and foremost, consider yourself to be a pure soul who is pure since beginningless time, who is pure by nature itself. Okay. Who never becomes impure. They are the only reason for his suffering. The relationship of the soul with karma is since eternity, and the only way to end it is by taking shelter of one's own parinamic bhav. So if we take shelter of our own parinamic bhav, this audik bhav will go away on its own. We even don't have to spend energy removing them. They will go on their own. Okay. So our effort should be to do oneness in the parinamic bhav and believe in that. Okay. Believe in that to be a pure soul. Next. So parinamic bhav, audik bhav. Now, opshamik bhav. Opshamik bhav indicates that with concentrated effort, a soul can evolve pure modification and start his journey towards liberation. As I said, any wrong believer, if the first time he manifests right belief, then it will be opshamik bhav. And it has got a duration of maximum 48 minutes. So then it will convert to something or the other. So opshamik bhav indicates that with concentrated effort, soul can evolve pure modification and start his journey towards liberation. The shelter of parinamic bhav and discrimination from one's audik bhav is the only way to evolve opshamik bhav, manifest opshamik bhav. Next, fourth one, shaik bhav. Shaik bhav indicates that with intense effort, it is possible to totally annihilate all karmas because somebody has done it and they have manifested shaik bhav and manifest the completely pure nature of the soul. Okay. So we all have this potential to manifest shaik bhav. Okay. But it will only get manifested at the right time. So long, just enjoy, don't worry. The last one, number 5. Shaiv Shamik Vow tell us that even the soul has manifested through impure modification since eternity, it does not become non-living, it does not become any other substance. The partial manifestation of knowledge, perception, energy, attributes is always seen, even in the one-sensed being. The tiniest part of the word is that much knowledge in a one-sensed being. Okay. So that partial manifestation of knowledge, perception, energy, attribute is always seen. So this is where we come to the end of the discussion on these 5 distinctive souls, 5 distinctive dispositions. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, we can take up. Otherwise, we will discuss last week's pending topic on right belief. At that point of time, there were power outage. So although it was completed, but something was always left to be said. So that we will going to discuss. First, questions on this if you have, because we have time now. So we'll take up the question answers here only. Yeah. Anyone? No questions?
Jai Jinendra, sir.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Jai Jinendra, sir.
Jai Ji.
Is it audible, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Could you please give the examples of those destructional dispositions? Like destruction, knowledge, gift, enjoyment, energy. What are they, sir? Conduct.
So these are the manifestations that gets manifested in the absence of karmas. Okay. So destructionals, there are 9 divisions, and each is only manifested when there is a corresponding destructions of the karma completely. Like example, destructional knowledge. Okay. So destructional knowledge will only manifest when there is a destruction of jnana varana karma, knowledge obscuring karma, perception obscuring karma. Okay. Similarly, antarai karma. Similarly, monia karma. So all these destructionals will only manifest when we destroy the corresponding karmas. Anything else? Okay, so we will discuss here only because this is still recording is being done. So we want to discuss on right belief, something on right belief. So in the last 2 slides, we had discussed the right belief according to Karna Niyog, and it was said that the right belief according to Karna Niyog is the true right belief, and the right belief according to Dravya Niyog and Charna Niyog may be there, but not necessarily Karna Niyog's right belief will also be there. But when there is a right belief from Karna Niyog, automatically the Dravya Niyog and Charna Niyog right belief will always be there. That was something we discussed. And then the last slide, what we should do, consciously. So we should always remain in happy space all the time. This is the biggest challenge, to remain in happy space all the time. Okay. So that should be our objective. And we understood the right belief from the 4 expositions. Each exposition tried to explain the nature of right belief from its perspective, right? But the final thing that we want to discuss is that the Dravyan Yoga is supreme, because in Dravyan Yoga, the main operation of discriminative knowledge is performed here. The 7 fundamental elements is a part of discussion of this. The 6 substance is also a part of discussion of this. Okay. So Dravyan Yoga is supreme, and as per Dravyan Yoga, if you practice discriminative knowledge, you will manifest right belief for sure. You will have your experience, and right belief will automatically get manifested. Okay. So in the scriptures, the right belief has been glorified very much. Now, what would be the steps that you have to undertake consciously? What you need to do in terms of effort to manifest this right belief? Can anyone try?
तो मिथ्यात्व को छोड़ना पड़ेगा.
Okay. What would be the effort? मिथ्यात्व को छोड़ना पड़ेगा is a result.
तो सच्चे शास्त्र गुरु देव की आराधना.
Okay, very good. Then First of all, तो सच्चे देव शास्त्र गुरु की आराधना means you have to identify that and take their guidance, and under their guidance, what you have to do? Swadhyay, study, scriptural study. The next step is contemplations, analysis, and the next step is decision making or the conclusion. These three steps is what you need to do in terms of effort, and when the right time will come, the karma, the mithyatva, delusion karma will get eradicated or it will be subsided and you will manifest right belief. So the karma parts is something which is not in our hand. So consciously we cannot do there anything. So our effort would be to proceed according to what Dravyan Yoga is prescribed, what Charnan Yoga have prescribed. And when we do things, a time will come when the karma will get subsided and you will manifest actual right belief according to Karnan Yoga. Okay. And when this happens, automatically the Dravyan Yoga and Charnan Yoga's right belief will happen. Right. So consciously we have to remain happy in all situations by taking shelter of our pure soul. And if somebody asks you whether you have manifested right belief, then what would be your answer? So you have been studying for say, so many times, so many years. So have you manifested the right belief? Then what would you answer? Tell me. No one can try. If someone asks you, have you manifested right belief, what would be your answer?
Partially.
Partial. Okay. Then anyone else? One more I want to try. Trupti ji. No? Chinmay?
Yes, sir, because we know that we are pure souls.
Good, good. So you have to say, because we are so confident that we are pure soul, then we should answer what is the need? Straightway, what is the need of right belief? I am complete in myself. I'm always pure. Since eternity, I'm pure. I never become impure. So what is the need of right belief? It's only one modification, okay? Right belief happens in the modification, and modifications are momentary. So one moment of modification will define me, or I am the pure soul. When we believe in ourselves, that is the time the right belief is manifested. So it is the other way around. So we should never chase this right belief, okay? And if you are chasing this right belief, Samyak Darshan, that means you are changing one modification. And that means you are still wrong believer, okay? Instead of chasing right belief, you be contained in yourself. You are complete in yourself. You are pure, pure soul, okay? So that should be the thing, that you should feel always confident that come what situation, I am always the right belief. And when you believe yourself to be a right belief, then you are a knower. Then you don't become a doer. Doership only happens when we are under the influence of delusion. When the delusion is not there, the right belief is there, then we always believe that we are only a knower and not doer. Okay?
सर आई हैव द क्वेश्चन.
Yeah.
आचरण में आएगा तभी अपन को वो फीलिंग आएगा ना. एट टाइम्स व्हेन वी गेट एंग्री.
So what? You are a knower of anger, no? You are not a doer of anger. So how does it make difference? Because at the fourth stage, only the first level of passion has gone. The three levels are still existing. So you will be manifesting anger, pride, deceit, everything. Right? So fourth stage is, even fifth stage also, people get married, people do business, everything in the fifth stage also. Then you go to the monk level at the sixth and seventh stage, then you renounced everything and you become a monk. But still monks also have fourth level of passion, Sanjwalan Kashai. Okay. And due
So
to
that
that,
hinders, yes, but such feelings, the anger mode, all this, so makes it feel low, कि नहीं, अभी तक,
no, why you are feeling low? Because
because
we are not that entity,
altered.
no? We are pure soul. And
That's
if you are
true.
a pure soul, then your function is to know. So you know no the anger, deceit, whatever has to come, let it come. You just know it. You are not doing it. So if you are not doing it, how can you get a low feeling from that?
We are not doing it purposely, but when we falter, we feel "अरे, again some anger is coming.
So you don't get into that jhagda only, right?
Really, when
Whatever
we,
has to happen has happened. It is all sequentially ordered
that's true,
modification. The
true.
eligibility of the moment of all three times is fixed. And similarly, these things will happen. Just now we studied Audik Bhav. So
Yeah,
Audik Bhav is unchangeable. Okay. So it will come, then only it will come. Cannot change it. So we have only one thing to do. Just remain an observer, knower, seer, and don't become a doer. If you are able to do that, you will be still in happy space. Okay. And you will never feel low. We feel only low when we become a doer of that. So we are not the doer. So we are not concerned. Something happening in our neighborhood, how much we are concerned, right? But something happening at our home, then we are concerned because we
true.
have attachment with this and we don't have attachment with that, right? So it is like that. So you don't become a knower, you don't become a doer, then you will not feel low. Okay. This confidence is right belief. And this confidence will go on increasing as you study more and more scriptural studies, and you will have knowing new things. Yeah.
Sir, so the basic conclusion of the entire thing, what I have understood, is the pure is soul in all the forms. Whatever we are, the soul is pure.
Right.
And then
Soul is
whatever
pure
is
or I am pure?
soul,
I am,
soul is with
no,
I
I
am
am
pure.
pure.
I am soul, no? So I am pure.
I am,
I am pure.
So we should
And the
always
other
speak in
thing,
first person and not third person.
okay, okay. And
Yeah.
the other thing, what I have understood is we are only a knower and not a doer.
Right.
So whatever is happening, as in the main topic of the thing is happiness. So if something is happening really wrong, so we just have to, think that we are a knower and this is bound to happen, and this is happening.
Right. So if you don't become a doer and remain a knower, then you will always be in a happy space. Because you don't have any
Okay.
responsibility to alter that, to change that, to make this way, that way, nothing. Just simply observer. Okay. So by
Okay.
default, we are all knowers only. Whether we believe ourselves to be a knower or we don't believe
Okay.
ourselves to be a knower, we don't become a doer. Even if I feel that I am a doer, but I don't become that. That is the nature of things. And the nature
Mhm.
of things is something we cannot change. So we just have to
Okay.
accept the truth. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So very well explained and you have understood very nicely, and keep on studying and things
Thank you,
will
sir.
settle down and you will then realize that you are knower in all situations. With practice, no, these things come. Okay.
Guru
So
Kripa.
yeah, anything else?
Sir, I have one more question.
Okay.
The time period which is mentioned is the time taken to manifest, or
So five distinctive dispositions you are talking about, right?
yes, sir.
So like supposing Shaik Bhav, okay, destructional disposition. So what is its time period? How long it's going to exist? So it is written Sadi Anand. So it will have a beginning, then it will not have end. So similarly, each time period is for that particular disposition and that will remain like that.
Okay, the duration,
Yeah,
like
duration
how
of
long it
that
will
particular,
remain.
yeah, duration of that particular disposition. Okay.
Is this Earth time, sir, like 48 minutes and all? Actually, our time is
Yeah,
different
our
from
time,
the.
our time only, our time. Okay. So good. Today we got time to clear that right beliefs last part also. So everything is now cleared. So next week would be our last class, and that is 4 types of non-existence that we are going to discuss as a last class, 12th class. Okay. So let's close for today. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जीना वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है, उसके लिए जीना वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है. 9 times नमोकार मंत्र. बोलो द्वात सांगमयी जिनवाणी माता की जय.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.